First item on the agenda is 2014-1348. Approves an application for an annual state grant of $100,000 to the Metro Arts Commission for general operational support. Do I have a motion? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-1349 authorized the mayor's office to accept a $10,000 donation from City of Services Incorporated for implementation of the Storm Busters program. Have a motion? Duly second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-1350 approves a memorandum of understanding between the mayor's office and Cities of Service Incorporated for the Storm Busters program, utilizing volunteers to plant trees and rain gardens in areas prone to flooding. Motion? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. 2015-1351 approves a Sixth Amendment to a state grant to the Mayor's Office of Emergency Management for the reimbursement of expenses resulting from the May 2010 flood by increasing the amount of the funding by $9,778,415 and increasing the amount of the local match by $514,653. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Duly seconded. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just was wondering why we're getting more money. What is that paying for that wasn't already on the books?
John can answer that.
These are all for reimbursement of flood-related expenses Metro incurred, and this has been pending for several years, and we receive periodic payments from the government.
Okay.
Rich may have some better information, but it's just waiting on the feds to send the money to the state and then to us.
Yeah. Mr. Cooper, Attorney Cooper is exactly right. There's a number of cases that are still in appeal process with the feds, and there's like 20 million plus in appeals that are still pending. So this is going to be an ongoing process for the next couple of years until it gets complete, and probably on into your second term and maybe even a third term.
Gotcha. Okay. 1351.
Seeing no other discussion in the queue, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2015-1352 approves a state grant of $188,350 to the Mayor's Office of Emergency Management to subsidize Metro's emergency management program. Have a motion? Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2015-1353 approves an application for a state grant of $7,200 for training regarding the handling of hazardous materials and the transportation incidents. Motion? Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2015-1355 approves a contract between the Metro Health Department and the Excellent Early Childhood Academy for implementation of the Project Diabetes Golden Sneakers program. Have a motion? Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2015-1356 approves a state grant of $510,000 to Metro Social Services Department to assist veterans and other individuals experiencing homelessness.
Move for approval.
Duly seconded. Any discussion? Council Lady Allen.
Point of order. Did we read the caption for 1354 and vote on 1355?
I don't have 1354.
Well, the text.
The golden sneakers doesn't go with 1355. I think there wasn't any money associated with that one.
Hold on, may have a number problem.
Maybe so.
Yeah, 1354 doesn't go.
I don't have a 54 on my agenda. I have a 1355 and 56. Where is it? 1356.
1355, if you'll just use this agenda. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there, but start with 1355.
For the remainder of it?
Yes, I think they're all further.
53 is correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and she's got the captioning and the numbers all mixed up, so I would just.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Just go back and start with 1353 and just use these captions.
All right, okay.
Ignore that.
All right. Thank you, Council Lady Allen. I certainly appreciate that. It's a little numbering issue. 2015-1353, a resolution approving an application for the Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant from the state of Tennessee, Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, to the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Duly second. Any discussion? Seeing none, motion passes. 2015-1355, a resolution accepting a grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to the Metropolitan Government in Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health, to fund an ongoing program to protect air quality to achieve established ambient air standards and protect human health. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, motion passes. 2015-1356, a resolution accepting a Tennessee cooperative agreement to benefit homeless individuals grant contract from Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services to the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Social Services Commission, to enhance or develop the infrastructure of states and their treatment service systems for veterans and other individuals experiencing homelessness. Have a motion? Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, motion passes. 2015-1357, a resolution approving an Amendment 2 to a grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to enhance access to a comprehensive continuum of high-quality, community-based care for low-income individuals and families with HIV disease. Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, motion passes. 1358, okay. We start there. 2015-1358 approves an Amendment 3 to a federal grant to the Metro Board of Health to enhance access to community-based care for low-income individuals and families with HIV by de-obligating funds from 2013. Have a motion? Duly seconded. Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted more of an explanation. In one, we're obligating, and in the opposite one, we're de-obligating. If someone could just explain that more, please.
Mr. Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Council Lady Gilmore, that is carrying money from one budget year into another. They de-obligated it from the prior fiscal year and carried those funds forward into the current fiscal year so that we can spend it in this current fiscal year. It doesn't change the total of the grant. They were unspent funds from last year. We're just carrying them forward into this year. This is the process we have to follow.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp. Council ladies, seeing no other discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. RS 2015-1359 approves 3 amendments to a federal grant of $716,413 to the Metro Board of Health for the Healthy Start Home Visiting Program. Have a motion? Duly seconded. Council Lady Gilmore.
Yes, I was hoping that Mr. Sharp could come and explain these 3 amendments and just explain as well, when I looked at the actual contract, were the directors still working at that time or were they not? I wasn't clear from looking at the contract, and I noticed that we amended all 3 of them and extended the date on some and then changed the date on the others.
Mr. Sharp.
Yes, sir. This one gets a little complicated. That grant actually expired in, I believe, March. And the amendments are to change the due dates of various things for reporting out to bring the grant to a close.
The directors that were on there, were they still operating the grant at that time? The person's names that are listed on those grants, or had they been finished and completed, and those directors who were listed and responsible, were they not operating those grants at that time?
I don't know who's on there. I didn't see the names. Who are they? What is it?
One is Dr. Kim, and there were several others. I just had some questions about it. You may want to go back and look at it, but I know definitely one was Dr. Kim, and there was 3 or 4 we extended the date on, and just had some questions about that.
Yeah, to my knowledge, Council Lady, all of the necessity for these amendments is to put the deadlines where they need to be so that we can meet them to close out the grant. We haven't received any money for it since back in this last spring sometime.
Okay, but I just wanted to make sure that, because I know some people were listed there that I don't think were no longer, they were not with the department any longer. And so I just had questions about that, and if those monies were continued to be spent, or was it abolished at that time? If I could just have some follow-up in writing.
Sure.
I would appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sharp. All in favor of 1359? Opposed? Motion passes. 2015-1360 recognizes the termination of a state waste tire disposal grant to the Metro Public Works Department and appropriates $48,882.22 in state funds for the collection and disposal of tires. Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2014-1362 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury and property damage claims of Elizabeth Moss and State Farm Insurance Company against the Metropolitan Government for the amount of $11,038. Do we have a motion? Motion duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2014-1363 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury claim of Belinda Bedenley against the Metropolitan Government for the amount of $7,321. All have a motion? Duly seconded. Councilman Pardue.
What was the personal injury?
Stand by. What is the personal injury?
Right, why are we paying her?
Patrick Bradley of our office is coming to the podium, Mr. Chair.
All right. Glad to have you with us to answer this question.
Thank you. The personal injuries of Miss Betley were $4,800 and I believe $88. Yes, $4,888.
I understand that. but I mean,
$4,808.
How did she get hurt?
Excuse me?
How were the injuries sustained?
Miss Betley was in a vehicle that was merged into by one of our trash trucks, and her car was actually hit against the guardrail close to the I-40 24 split, and so she went to the hospital after that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Glover?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I noticed in the analysis, and perhaps you're the person to answer this, but in the analysis with each of these, and I was going to wait till the last one to ask this question, but now it seems to be appropriate. There was different times of suspension that were given to the employees, different dollar amounts, obviously. What dictates that, and why was, I guess, each one of these that seemed to be almost equal in severity, why were they handled differently as far as the amount of time on the suspension?
I would think Mr. Cooper here can answer that.
The times for the amount of suspension that I received before the analysis went out was actually incorrect. I found out from Public Works that the suspension was not as great as was originally reported, so we revised the analysis for this evening. But on Bedelay, the 1363, it was a 3-day suspension, and then a 1-day suspension on the other two accidents. And Public Works I met with Mr. Lovett, who's here, and they look at each accident individually to determine what the, how negligent the driver was and what the issue was, and they hand out the punishment based upon each individual accident and what the circumstances surrounding that accident was. So it's not directly related to the amount of damage or injuries that the accident may have caused, but it's based upon the action of the driver. Is that correct, Mr. Levitt?
I thought you were looking for me.
We could be.
Yes, sir, you described it very well, Mr. Cooper.
It would also depend on the whether the employee has been disciplined previously. So if you had someone that had another accident a year prior to that, then the level of suspension would probably be greater.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Lovett.
Yes, sir.
Seeing no other in the queue, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 2014-1364 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury claim of Juanita Cantrell against the Metropolitan Government for the amount of $32,600. Do I have a motion? Duly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. That concludes the Budget and Finance agenda.